Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to PM eVidya channel. I'm with you, Dharmendra Singh. I hereby welcome all my viewers, so whosoever watching this program through on NCRT official around this globe. And after watching this program, you will definitely enlighten yourself well and on around this globe because today is Friday, and you know that every Friday we deal 4 to 5. We will have a webinar session on cyber safety and security. So that's how we are going to introduce the concept of technology in education through this webinar session. Right, so talk about more. If you have any questions, any query, you can get back to us on our toll-free number. Here is the toll-free number you can see on your television screen is 8800 440 559. A part of this, you can send your questions through mail as well on our official mail ID of webinar. It's training at the rate CIT.nic.in. A part of this, you can see this program. You can watch this program live on NCRT official YouTube channel and also PM eVidya channel from 1 to 12. Right. So what we have today is special to talk about in today's session. I'm introducing the topic to you all: types of cyber crime. So here we are going to talk about crimes about cyber. To talk about more this, we have got an expert as well. I would like to welcome please Mr. Rahul Verma, advocate and legal consultant of Telecast. I welcome you, Mr. Verma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Right, it's our pleasure, sir. And we all would like to know a lot of crime scenes we heard about, we read about in the newspaper, in the television, and this country has taken that much of crime, including our country as well, India. So first of all, we need to understand what is the object of cyber crime.
Okay, thank you. There is a thing that, first of all, we need to understand that what are the objects behind the cybercrime. As you know, everything is an object. So the cybercrime has also some object. So the objects of the cybercrime are basically hacking, phishing, spamming, or it's used as a tool to commit an offense like child pornography, hate crimes, etc. And if we will see the definition of cyber crime, it is defined as a crime in which the cyber criminals may use computer technology to access your personal information, business trade secrets, or use the internet for exploitative or malicious purposes. These criminals can also use computers for communication and documents or data storage. And the criminals who perform these illegal activities are often referred as hackers. We know we must have heard this word hacker. So there are various crimes where your computer or your mobile phone become a tool for all these kind of unlawful activities. It is basically, I can understand, is the object behind the cybercrime.
Which
Yes,
is
sir.
very awful, which is very awful by like scamming and making so many hacking things, stacking and all over.
Right.
All these things make trouble in the mind of a particular individual.
Right.
ICT has got a different kind of way to handle all these things. All right, we will discuss later on about these topics. All right. So another question I have for you, if we can deliver this to our viewers, if they can understand that what is cyber stalking. Every time we heard this word is stalking. So what is cyber stalking? We can understand from.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Dharmendra ji, for asking this question, as it is very important question in these days, and it is very much relevant at the present era. And
Yeah, yeah.
as far as cyber stalking is concerned, if you will see the definition of it, first of all, there is one dictionary called the Black Law Dictionary, which defines cyber stalking as the act of threatening, harassing, or annoying someone through multiple email address, as through the internet, especially with intent of placing the recipient in fear that an illegal act or injury will be inflicted on the recipient or a member of the recipient's family or etc. Although there is no universally accepted definition of cyberstalking, it is generally defined as the repeated acts of harassment or threatening behavior of the cyber criminals towards the victim by using internet services. Stalking in general terms can be referred to as the repeated acts of harassment targeting victims, such as follow the victim, making harassing phone calls, killing the victim pet, vandalizing victim property, leaving written messages or objects. So stalking may be followed by a series of violent acts such as physical harm to the victim. Basically, it all depends on the course of conduct of the stalker. So basically, the cyber stalking is a crime is a crime against a person as opposed to other internet-enabled crimes such as data theft or hacking, which are crimes against the property basically. The prevalence of cyber stalking has increased with the increased use of social media such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, MySpace, Tumblr, Telegram, Instagram, etc., etc., which give easy access to your photos, your personal information, and whereabouts of a person, and also act as medium of communication. So, cyber stalking is often accompanied by a real-time or offline stalking. It is motivated by a desire to control, intimidate, or influence the victim. So, a stalker may be an online stranger or a person whom the victim knows, and he may be anonymous or solicit involvement of other people online who do not even know the victim. Typically, the cyber stalker's victim is new on the web and inexperienced with the rules of internet safety. Their main targets are mostly females, children, emotionally weak or unstable persons, and I believe that that over 75% of the victims are female of cyber stalking. Yes, Dharmendraji, what I feel about the cyber stalking.
Most of the females behind that, right? Why is that? If I ask you this question, there are so many intelligent male people. They are also performing crime day by day, every day. But why? It has got any specific reason while putting a female in front of them? Why people got confused that okay, there is a lady, if she is talking in a very good manner, if she is trying to attack you in your way to commit that crime, so why the people got seized in that particular wise? Why we are going to commit that crime by ourselves? Don't we have that mind? That should be wrong. We don't need to do this. We can't go ahead. Something like this.
Basically, stalking is following someone.
Yeah.
Against the wishes or willingness or consent. If you are following someone, is a crime, and it is not only confined to physical form only. Now it is come on the internet as well. So I can follow you on internet. If I am following you on internet without your consent, and you don't like that,
Yes.
I may follow. So it is basically cyber stalking.
So yes, so the moral of the story is we don't need to follow any negative personality if we want.
Yeah,
If we
yes.
want answer to escape these kind of crimes. All right. In our life, we several times heard these terms like if there are any negative, there is a positive part. If they are evil, then there must be a God also. If there is a crime, there must be some law for protection as well. So my simple question to you: whether there are any law to protect from these stalking we are talking about in our country? We have got any law to protect them?
Definitely, because the passage of the time, law changes. Earlier, there was no law in respect of cyber stalking, but now we have codified law to this fact. As far as the law on cyber stalking in India is concerned, you must have heard about the Criminal Law Amendment 2013. So, before Criminal Law Amendment 2013, which came on the recommendation of Justice Verma Committee report on women law. There was before that there was no separate offense of stalking. So after Nirgha case, the Justice Verma Committee has been constituted on the women issue, and in this committee, Justice Verma Committee made certain recommendation to the government to make certain codified law. So, however, it was covered under Section 509 IPC before this 2013 amendment. So Justice Verma Committee proposed the inclusion of laws regulating stalking, including cyber stalking and voyeurism in our criminal law. So it was observed by the Justice Verma Committee that Priyadarshini Mattu case, you must have heard this Priyadarshini Mattu case. So while observing Justice Verma Committee that Priyadarshini Mattu case is a stark reminder of what stalking can lead to if it left ignored. So it was further observed that stalking incidents have in the past led to gruesome rapes and acid attacks, and therefore the need arises to provide for a law which creates a strong deterrence. So accordingly, our legislature made certain amendment to the IPC that bringing to the law amendment at 2013 and inserted section 354C and 354D in the IPC and made voyeurism and stalking punishable. So it is a little bit law about the this stalking and all. Yes, then.
I think it's like, it's a very difficult and dangerous thing because cybercrime, that enemy you're not going to see. But that is far better good than if you are in a battlefield, you can say thousands of soldiers against you are going to fight against you. But yes, there is a single person, but you can't see, and the crime is going to commit it. So we need to be Rahul Verma today with us. All the viewers, if you have any questions, any query regarding the cyber safety and security projects, you can ask quickly. So I will put in front of our expert. All right, let's move forward now. So forward now, we recently heard about pornography. Pornography. So what is pornography and how does it affect
Yes.
pornography?
Yes, you rightly put a very good question. And at present, the pornography is one of the biggest challenges before us, as well as to the various enforcing agencies. Pornography can be defined as any media basically constituted as intended to entertain or arouse erotic desire. This is the most common definition used by researchers and the courts as well. So, among some person and groups, the pornography and its associated materials have negative connotation, and they wish to express the sentiments in the definition. For others, pornography is viewed positively as well. So, the rapid growth of internet has raised concern about how internet use affects the prevalence of sex crimes. On the one hand, the internet provides meeting points for potential offenders and victims, both in chat room and on internet dating sites. On other hand, a vast supply of extreme sexual content has triggered renewed interest in the impact of pornography on sex-related crimes such as rape and child sex abuse. And there are several theories related to the consumption of pornographic material to sex crimes. One theory argues that pornography increases the likelihood of sex crime because it triggers sexual arousal and aggression, which degrades women or children to objects and affects social and individual norms. And second thought, which opposing theory highlights the potential athletic effects of pornography consumption because it leads to sexual relief and thereby potentially offset sexual aggression. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, what I think about it, it leads to cybercrime such as online obscenity and pornography, meaning thereby publishing of information which is obscene in electronic form. Basically, whoever publishes or transmit or cause to publish in electronic form any material which is lascivious or appeal to the prurient interest of its effect is such as to tend to deprave and corrupt person who are likely having regard to all relevant circumstances. To read, see, or hear the matter content or embodied in it. So, as per Section 67 of the Information Technology Act 2000, it shall be punished on first conviction with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 5 years and with fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh, and further in the event of second or subsequent conviction with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and also with fine which may extend to 2 lakh rupees. So as per section 66E of the IT Act, a violation of privacy of an individual is also punishable up to 3 years or with fine to rupees 2 lakh or both. Because you must have heard there is one case in the Supreme Court where the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court held the right to privacy is a fundamental right of an individual as per part of the Constitution. So in this act, the right to privacy has given a very wide connotation on this particular act. So among the cyber crimes, obscenity, pornography, and the interest poses a major challenges, especially in societies where moral standards are held as a core of value of culture and reinforced by religion values. So the standard of such morals vary from society to society, and in a given society undergoes substantial changes. But for the moment, the law relating to obscenity and pornography of a given system holds steadfast and attempts to regulate the same. So, regulating obscenity in the physical world itself is a fraught with many difficulties, and in internet it becomes very porous due to its nature of operation. So the whole gamut of obscenity and pornography also become lucrative business in internet, as it is banned in the most of the world and has a huge market. But unfortunately, there is a no proper check and balance by the concerned authorities. Therefore, porn sites are easily available on the internet. So this is all about the pornography, which is the very biggest problem we are facing in these days.
It is, it is, it is. You
Yes, sir.
see, so many parents complain about while giving mobile phone and all, internet gadgets to the children. And why, sir? I think that might be one of the cause that yes, if we will give them, if we will not be aware about this, they might can see these kind of sites which is not helpful for them because they are in that age because they are adolescents, so they can be move themselves in any direction, negative or positive doesn't matter. Now I'm shaping another question in terms of child. Like we understood about the pornography. What happened if I ask you child pornography and how it's related to Indian law? If we can see the Indian perspective in the terms of law.
Right. It's a very important question in these days, and time to time now is a very there is a very strong law in respect of the child pornography. So the issue of the child pornography has taken by our government very seriously and made various amendments in the existing law and also made a special provision in POXO Act. The POXO Act is specially confined to the child rights. So in this case, the children are being a weak, gentle, and meek should be protected from the world of criminals, steady people, and negative people, and so on. They being the most voiceless and defenseless group, what I feel, requires a special attention for protection of their human rights. So it is indeed the duty of the society at large, including the legal and judicial authorities, to protect those who are helpless to protect themselves, and this is especially true for children. At times, these vulnerable kids fall prey to the predators of child abuse, child trafficking, child pornography, and begging, etc. They find themselves entangled in the world of disgrace, inhumanity, disrespectfulness, from which they hardly escape or look for a sign of hope. With the introduction of the modern information technology, they get entrapped into new modes of crime, especially child abuse, child labor, and child pornography. However, our legislature brought certain provision in the IT Act 2000, like Section 67A, 67B, and Section 67C, to deal with the child pornography. And there are certain provisions have also provided in the protection of children from sexual offences, that is also called POXO Act, to protect the children from the pornography. And apart from POXO and IT Act, there are certain provisions in IPC as well, which those are dealing with this particular child pornography, that is Section 293, 292 and 293 of the IPC. So you rightly said that unintentionally we are used to give our mobile phone to child, but they don't know
Yes.
what kind of application they are going to face, and unintentionally they push the button of that application, and suddenly they will see a different kind of images and pornography sites, etc., etc. So and in this particular situation, the parents have to take more towards their children, and they must be more attentive towards their children while giving their mobile phone to the children. Yes, sir. Yes, tell me this. Yes,
My voice is audible to you.
yes. Now it is audible.
Right, right. So there is a point, right? Everything is going on virtually in these days. Everything is going online. We are doing online classes. Now, adolescent must have to, make a single balance here. Suppose if we are a parents, we do not want to give a mobile phone unnecessarily to our kids. Okay, we have that, a threat that somewhere they will move to the different direction. But this is our helplessness that we need to give the mobile phone and all the electronic gadgets to them to continue their study because they are at home, they are not going to school or their colleges. So how they can generate that trust from the side of parents and also from the side of the students or the kids to just to make a very good balance from both the sides. So there should be no complaint. Very quickly.
I see, as you said earlier, everything is a positive and negative side.
Yeah.
In this pandemic time, since last March 2020, now the online classes are going on, and it is mandatory for the school-going children to have their these electronic devices. Unintentionally, the parents are giving their phones and laptops to their children. But after the class, because it is very difficult for the parents to watch 24 hours for the activity of the children. So sometimes unintentionally they pop up with these applications and they can face these kind of things.
But at least something that they need to do, to, at least they need to generate a mutual trust that yes, don't need to worry, I'm just doing my studies and nothing else. All right, so halfway down we have done with, and we have half more hour to go. I'm putting a very smart question to you, Mr. Verma, but we don't know who the person are and how they can commit these crimes. Okay, let's see. The question is, what is cyber terrorism and its effects? How does it affect? And the million-dollar question is, who are considered as the cyber terrorists? Well, we don't know. The crime is going to be done.
Yes, you put a very global question, and earlier we used to terrorist activities only. There are certain terrorists who attacked one particular place. Now there is a new term has come, that is cyber terrorism. The word cyber terrorism came after the use of this electronic devices and internet as well. So at present, the issue of cyber terrorism is a basically global issue. And this particular term, cyber terrorism, is faced by all across the world. So before we can discuss the possibilities of cyber terrorism, we must have some working definition of it. The word cyber terrorism refers to two elements basically. Number one, the cyberspace and terrorism. Another word of cyberspace is the virtual world basically, a place in which a computer program function and data moves. Terrorism is a much used term with many definitions, as I told you earlier. For the purpose of this section, or for this session basically, we will use the combined definition given by the United States Department of State. The term terrorism means premeditated, politically motivated violence perpetrated against non-combatant targets by subnational groups or clandestine agents. If we combine this definition, we construct a working definition. That is, cyber terrorism is the premeditated, politically motivated attack against information, computer systems, computer programs, and data, which results in violence against combatant targets by sub-national groups or clandestine agents. So the basic definition of cyber terrorism subsumed over time to encompasses such as things as simply defacing a website or server or attacking non-critical systems, resulting in term becoming less useful. There is also a train of thought that says cyber terrorism does not exist and it is really a matter of hacking or information warfare. Some may disagree with this labeling of terrorism because this terrorism proper because of the unlikelihood of the certain fear of a significant physical harm or death in the population using electronic means, considering current attack and protective technologies. So there is another question you put simultaneously in this particular question, that who are considered as a cyber terrorist. So in this regard, I would like to say that from American point of view, the most dangerous terrorist group is Al-Qaeda, which is considered the first enemy for US. According to US official data from computers seized in Afghanistan, indicate that the group has spotted systems that control American energy facilities, water distribution, communication system, and other critical infrastructure. And after April 2001, as far as I recollect the same, after April 2001, there is one collision of US Navy spy plane and China's fighter jet. So Chinese hackers launched denial of services, attack against American websites. So a study that covered that the most dangerous nation for originating malicious cyber attack are US, South Korea, China, Germany, France, UK, and Israel. And there is one group called World's Fantabulous Defacers, In short, we used to call it WFD. That attacked many Indian sites. Also, there is another pro-Pakistan group called Anti-India Crew. In short, we used to call it AIC, who launched many cyber attacks against India. And there are many forms of cyber terrorism which are prevailing in our country, such as like there is a privacy violation, secret information appropriation, information appropriation and data theft, demolition of e-governance base,
Yeah.
security denials of services attack, and network damage and disruptions. So these form of cyber attacks, cyber terrorists can destroy the economy of the country by attacking the people.
Dr. Rama, one more thing I would like to add here. I'm stopping you for a while, please.
Please.
Why? Because we are lacking of time. So, okay, we understood about the terrorism. We understood about the cyber terrorists as well. But what happened if I ask you what is the reason behind why they commit that cyber crime? So, what is the purpose behind that?
Yes,
Everything is
yes,
going
yes,
well.
yes.
So, why? For what reason they enforced to commit those crimes? So, what is the purpose behind that?
You know that everything is a reason. Whatever happening in the world, everything is a reason behind all over it. If you think about it, so the cyber terrorists basically prefer using the cyber attack by various methods because of many advantages for it. That is, for example, it is cheaper than traditional methods. The action is very difficult to be tracked. They can hide their personalities and location, and there are no physical barriers or checkpoint to cross, and they can do it remotely from anywhere in the world. They can use this method to attack a big number of targets. They can affect a large number of people at a time. So these, what I personally think, these are the purposes for that they can use these terrorist activities against people.
It is. Right. So one more interesting term I'm going to use here, and then after you need to quickly answer these things because we are lacking of time. At least we have got 20 to 25 minutes still left. Okay. Whether there isn't any concept of cyber, defamation, if you can explain this to our
Yes,
viewers.
yes, 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 yes. And it's a very good question you have asked, Davinderji, because which is basically it is related to personality of an individual.
Right.
What is the image you have in public at large? So under this provision, under this cyber definition, the wrongdoer can publish defamatory statement against you at the cyberspace to defame you at the public at large. And it is a civil as well as criminal wrong. Under civil law, the wrongdoer is liable to pay compensation and damages to the victim, and in criminal wrong, it is punishable under section 499 and 505. So there are several areas on the internet where there is a real risk of liability of for defamation. The fact that the user is alone with his computer and distance from other users creates a sense of intimacy. There is no spoken telephonic conversation or dictated correspondence that would normally instill some caution. So in addition, the notion that the internet is a free for all cyberspace where there are no limits or boundaries results in a user's sense of social norms and propriety getting blurred. But cyber defamation need to be necessarily be directed at an individual victim, but it could be harmful to the whole society. Similarly, it is also an offense which affects the country's economy and not merely the wealth of an individual victim. It also affects the corporate houses. So its share value would be adversely affected. I think so.
Right. Now I'm putting this issue in front of you, which is the global problem. Actually, I would say it's $1 billion question. How many types of financial frauds there you are? Every 2 or 3 people being be victimed by this financial fraud. So these financial frauds are prevailing in cyberspace. How does it affect? I mean, if you can let us know about the types of financial frauds.
Yes. Uh, as far as this question is concerned, everyone of this country or the world is affected by this financial fraud, this way or that way. It may be minor, it may be major. So it is very important question you put, and as I told you that everyone has suffered or suffering from one way or another by this financial fraud. And under this heading, under this question, is one of the most important financial fraud is money laundering.
Right.
So money laundering is basically, as you know, that there are many ways in which a criminal can illegally acquire money electronically. whether it's through malicious malware, phishing, wishing, and smishing scams, accounts takeover, or other vectors. A commonality across all these attack methods is that fraudster will need to move the illicit funds fast to avoid being caught and have the sum confiscated. In traditionally money laundering schemes, the placement of funds begin one tainted money is put into a financial institution. When funds are stolen online through digital transaction at financial institution, the process immediately jumps to layering. Basically, money laundering is used to be done in three ways, like moving funds within the financial system, moving funds into unregulated financial cash systems, and removing funds from the financial system altogether. So, in these funds are moving within the financial system, it is generally only occurs with very large sum of money. Some of the most common method for this include use of offshore accounts, anonymous sale accounts, money mules, and unregulated financial services.
Right.
So
I would like to stop here for a second. You just mentioned offshore accounts.
yes,
I think the viewers, if you are aware that you must have read this term in the newspaper, if you read about the economical column in the newspaper. So, what is that offshore account? So, you
yes.
can clear this to our viewers.
The common people must have heard the word account, my bank account, this account and that account, but most of the people are not aware what is the offshore account. So, in this term, an individual can transfer stolen money funds into offshore account in a local where bank secrecy laws are very strict. For example, Swiss Bank at Switzerland. These countries are often referred to as a tax havens. You know that earlier there was an issue of black money. The people from this country used to deposit their tainted money to this Swiss bank in Switzerland. So the government concern cannot ask to the bank to provide the details of the person. So financial institution, trust, shell corporation, and other financial groups in these regions may welcome money from almost everywhere and often do not require disclosure of information regarding where the money originated from. So in this institution, do not file any reporting back to the country in which the funds were generated. So basically, this kind of offshore account which can be used to hide your black money, basically.
Right. Okay, okay. There is also a small term. You need to answer this very quickly. Then we'll move forward. Money mules. What is money mules? That is also a term.
Money rules. Okay, and it's a very this term is related to cyberspace only. In this particular system, a money mule is a person basically who receives and transfer funds acquired illegally for others. So most mules receive commission for their efforts. It is about just a receives and transfer funds which was acquired illegally for others for other person.
Right. So viewers, you must have got the clear dilemmas now about the offshore accounts and the money mules. Okay, let's move forward. Thank you so much, Dr. Verma. And see, we will not let you go like this. We have many more things to be asked about. How moving funds into unregulated financial e-cash system works. That's also a meditative, issue to talk about.
Yes, yes. It is very wide topic, and I'll try to confine. I will try to give the answer in very brief because it's a very important question you have asked.
Sure.
There are many ways under which funds are moving into unregulated e-cash system, and everyone is affected to this. And in this unregulated financial service, unregulated entities may offer a variety of service that can be applied for criminal purposes. Many things fit into this category, such as there is another mode like electronic money, wherein stored value cards allow electronic money to put onto the card directly and then used to purchase goods and services. You know, in these days, number of companies and private sector giving you card, and on the basis of that card, you can purchase anything. And now there is a culture of casino. You must have seen the movie of James Bond in such kind of movies. So James Bond used to busy and playing casino. But in the present era, casino is illegal, but somewhere it is legally going on. In recent year, you will find out the financial crime enforcement network placed regulatory requirements on casino due to large sum of money and the high frequency of transaction at this establishment. And in casino, savvy criminals use it to move their illicit money. They are playing in millions and billions of dollars and etc. Money, etc. And there is one underground network of money dealers. This referred to conduits through which money is transferred by informal methods. It is used for money laundering, criminal activities, and terrorist financing. So I've tried to confine very briefly the question you put.
Well, Mr. Verma, does it happen to you ever before? To be honest, I don't want to happen to you. If you can trust me, someday, at night, if you can check your account and you find sufficient amount is available there, and suddenly in the morning when you woke up, when you check your account and that is empty, and that has happened so many times. We can see, we might have seen in the newspaper, we might have seen in the television, we might have seen the movies as well. So, how does credit or debit card frauds, removing funds from the financial system altogether? Certainly, it happens. How does it happen?
You're right. I am not an exception to this fraud. I am also a victim of this crime. And 2 years ago, somebody has stolen my money from my bank account.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%.
That's why you try to be a consult to the Delhi police.
Right,
Yes.
but I don't want to comment on the system, but I was also victim of it.
Okay.
So it is very relevant question, really. You asked Devendraji.
Yeah, that could be happening to anybody. To the better,
Yes, and
better
this way or that way, everybody has suffered. Everybody has suffered, and the credit card and debit card fraud is very well known to all of us. And the credit card or debit card fraud is a form of identity theft, basically, that involves an unauthorized taking of another's card information for the purpose of charging purchases to the account or removing funds from it. It is committed when a person prudently obtains, takes, signs, sells, buys, or force someone else credit or debit card or card information. And it is very easy and it is rampantly going on. So the credit card is a broad term for the use of credit card to buy goods or services with the intention of evading payments. So there are many ways the credit card thieves gather your personal information. There is like they will use your lost and stolen credit cards and stealing from your mailbox, looking over your shoulder during transactions. Suppose you are in ATM and the criminals are standing behind you, then he will see your transaction, and he will he can go through your press, sending you unsolicited email, making you false telephone solicitation, looking at your personal records. So it is all happening. You must have receiving number of calls. We are calling from this company. Kindly provide me the detail of your account. We will transfer the amount. Now the proxy people will call you as they are your friend, and they will ask your bank account. Okay, I have to transfer certain amount in your account. So kindly provide me your account detail. If you have done that, that means you are going to be victim of that crime. So this is one of the problem. The people will steal your cards. So when a credit card is lost or stolen, it may be used for illegal purchases until the holder notifies the issuing bank and the bank puts a block on the account. Most banks have free, the most of the bank have free 24 hours telephone numbers to encourage from reporting. But still, it is possible for a thief to make unauthorized purchase on a card before the card is cancelled. So without other security measure, a thief could potentially spend thousands of rupees. So the credit cards fraud can be broadly classified into three categories, like card-related fraud, merchant-related frauds, and internet-related fraud. So apart from these three are different card frauds exist, such as application fraud. In application fraud, basically this type of fraud occurs when a person falsifies an application to acquire a credit card. Application fraud can be committed in three ways, such as assumed identity. In this case, an individual illegally obtain your personal information of another individual and open accounts in his or her name using partially legitimate information. And second is financially fraud. In this case, an individual provides false information about his or her financial status to acquire credit card. And that is non-received items. It is also called a postal intercepts. It occurs when the card is stolen from the postal services before it reaches to its owner destination. So, as far as lost and stolen card is concerned, this type of fraud occurs when a legitimate cardholder loses the card or someone steals the card for criminal purposes. And there is even another heading like amount takeover. This type of fraud occurs when a fraudster illegally obtain all the information, confidential information of any bona fide person, tend being impersonate as a genuine cardholder. He or she informed the bank that his residential or office address is changed, or he or she report that his credit card is lost and request for mailing of a new card to his new address. Or he or she received the card, and thus the criminal is able to successfully take over your account. And there is another concept called counterfeit card fraud. It is also known as skimming. A counterfeit clone or skim card is one that has been printed, embossed, or encoded without permission from the card company, or one that has been validly issued and then altered or recorded. In most of the cases of counterfeit fraud involves skimming, a process where the genuine data on a card's magnetic strips electronically are copied on the another card without the knowledge of the legitimate card holder. So skimming can occur at the retail outlet, particulars at bar, restaurants, and petrol pumps. And there is another fraud like card not present fraud. This type of fraud is conducted over the internet by telephone, fax, and mail order. It occurs when a criminal obtains card details by the theft of card details of any individual from discarded receipt or by copying down of card holders during a transaction without the legitimate card holder's knowledge. So, in this type of fraud, neither the card nor the card holder is present at the time of use of the said card. And there is another called triangulation. It occurs when a fraudster acts as a bogus intermediary to connect legitimate customer and the merchant. He advertises and sells as an item, receive the payment, and then fulfill the order by using stolen credit card details. So, and there is another called identity theft. Somebody can, steal your identity as well. So, identity fraud occurs when someone illegally obtains your personal information and repeatedly uses it to open new account or to initiate transaction in the name of legitimate customer. So majority of the identity thefts occur offline, like stealing the wallet, intercepting the mail, or rummaging through the trash. So it is a little bit. I would like to conclude this credit card fraud.
Actually, this is a very relevant information as we need to follow. Okay, we have got only 6 minutes left now, and we need to cover two or three more important things. Okay, Mr. Verma, we every day, are quite aware about this kind of information that someone have been hacked by the someone from so and so, data handle or any portal where you preserves your information, secretly, but that has been hacked. Every day today it happens.
Yes,
So
yes.
what is the meaning of hacking, and whether is there any law against it, and where actually we can register that complaint if so and so person being victimized by this kind of illegal activities?
Yes, you put very important question. And 3 days ago, across the world, for some time, the sites of Google and other worldwide sites have been hacked. So, whoever is related to cyberspace is very well versed with this term called hacking. So, hacking is the most common type of cybercrime committed across the world.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but as far as India is concerned, hacking is defined in Section 66 of the IT Act, in which it says, whoever with the intent to cause or knowing that he is likely to cause wrongful loss or damages to the public or any person, destroy or delete or alter any information residing in your computer, resources or diminish its value or utility or affect it injuriously by any means committing hacking. So in simple words, hacking is a crime which entails tracking system and gaining unauthorized access to the data stored in your electronic device. So a hacker is a person who breaks in or trespass a computer system.
Right. Okay. If we talk about the computer system, I'm putting a question related to this about the data. So, what is data diddling? Is a term we heard often. So, what is data diddling? You need to answer it very quickly. You know,
Yes,
we
yes,
are,
yes.
we are lacking of time. Yes.
Basically, it is altering in raw data before the computer process,
Okay.
and then changing it back after the processing is completed. So it may lead to huge losses of to the organization concerned who is having such kind of data.
Right. Salami attack. There are, so many kinds of attacks we heard about.
Salam, yes.
Okay, so there is a term comes out, salami attack. If we talk about the cyber security and safety, so what is the meaning of salami attack in cyberspace? We all would like to know from you,
Yes,
sir.
yes. That is a different salam, but in cyberspace, it is a different salam. So basically, it is a kind of a cyber crime which is generally done to commit financial crimes.
Mhm.
The key here is to make the alteration so insignificant that in a single case it would go complete. So it is basically a financial crime.
Right. So if I don't mention money laundering, so our session would be
Uh,
incomplete. Okay. So what is electric money laundering?
so
Several cases separately registered as per the money laundering, so we can understand from you. Electronic money laundering, is it a
uh,
crime?
uh, actually,
Seriously.
I have dealt with this issue like money laundering, but there is a different concept of electronic money laundering.
Yes.
So money
Has it
laundering
got
is a
any
prohibited
difference,
law in our
Mr.
country.
Verma?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So I'm asking, has it got any difference? It's a money laundering or electric money laundering. Has it got any difference?
Yes,
If you
yes.
can share.
There is a very in money laundering there is a physical.
Okay.
There is a physical, transaction. In electronic money laundering, it is a just electronic transfer.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Right.
so
Just
in
go
this,
on. You finished?
in this particular money laundering, electronic money laundering is concerned, money generated in the large volumes illegally must be laundered before it can be spent or invested. So one way to launder money is to transfer it electronically through message between banks, which is known as a wire transfer. So it had previously seemed impossible to monitor or screen wire transfer as they occur due to tremendous volumes on transaction going through on a day-to-day basis. However, banks are clamping down on the issue and filing away any suspicious activities. So it is all about the, in brief, electronic money laundering.
Right. So we have got only 1.5 minutes left now. We talk about crime. We talk about the terrorists. We talk about the terrorism as well. We talk about salami attacks. Now I am talking about a bomb, logic bomb. Quickly, you need to answer this. What is logic bomb?
Logic. So these are dependent program basically. So
Okay.
these programs are created to do something only when certain event occurs. So some viruses may be termed as a logic bombs because they lie dormant all through the year and become active only on a particular date. It is a logic
Mhm.
bomb.
All right. Okay. As you are a consultant, so we all would like to know from you. Still, while having so many laws, while getting so many awareness as well, is there any barrier, any challenges you are facing where you want to create something new into this to protect as per the law, so people actually will get aware. So while they will be aware about before they are going to
Yes.
victimized by any kind of hacking or any kind of things.
As you know, Dharmender ji, that this cybercrime is rampant. Viruses are everywhere. As I said earlier, including internet time theft, online forgery, email embalming, virus dissemination, and anonymous cell account. So, how can you protect yourself from being victim of ransomware, malware, and cybercrime? Well,
Right.
let's start by being smarter than the criminals. It is the first thing we have to learn, that we have to be smarter than the criminals. So
Yes.
they count on the fact that you can be scared into clicking on anything they put in front of you and static
Absolutely.
so that they are pretty accurate. So it's my suggestion that use strong and unique password. Don't use your name, mobile number, date of birth, vehicle number, your pet names, etc. as your password. And secure your computer by activating your firewall, wall, use N1 antivirus malware software, and regularly updating your antivirus software, and block spyware attacks. Be social media savvy, secure your mobile devices, protect your data, secure your wireless network, protect your e-identity, avoid being scammed, and call the right person to help and you need. And if you
Thank
are a
you.
victim of a cybercrime, then
Mhm.
immediately make complaint to the cyber cell of a police station concerned and to the concerned authority for redressal of your grievances.
Mr. Verma, quickly at your motivational message to our viewers very quickly on a quick end because we are lacking with the time now. It's almost finished. Any quick message?
Just nothing, just nothing. Just be aware about the cyberspace and be techno savvy. And only
Absolutely.
awareness can save you.
Actually. So that was the session on cyber safety and crime, and I believe you loved that session that we talked about in details. So thank you so much for watching this session, and I'm extremely grateful to our guest who enlightened us with your immense knowledge and intellect. Thank you so much, Mr. Rahul Verma, for your time, and you delivered this much of information, which was so valuable, so instructive, and so informative to our viewers. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Dharmenji, and thank you so much for NCRT and entire team who's given me the opportunity to speak. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, all the viewers who's ever watching this program. But you don't need to be anywhere because there is such a program is waiting for you just on the corner. Stay tuned.